George Bernard Shaw was born in Dublin, Ireland in 1856. By the time he was a young man, he was already writing literary critiques for music and theatre. Shaw wrote several novels and then turned to playwriting and essays. George Bernard Shaw became a monumental literary and political figure, writing over 50 plays. He was also an influential writer for the Fabian Society, an organisation committed to social reform. In 1925, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature and later an Academy Award for his adapted screenplay of The Script for Pygmalion. George Bernard Shaw's works were thought-provoking and encouraged the questioning of societal norms in the interest of greater justice for all. As he once said, "Some see things as they are and say, why? I dream things that never were and say, why not?" Shaw applied the same questioning to himself, and he changed to a vegetarian diet after realizing the suffering caused to animals by eating meat. Shaw's noble actions were highlighted by Supreme Master P.2 during an interview with the Irish Dog Journal in 2009.
And people are not aware because nearly all of this inhumane treatment of animals takes place behind windowless walls where no one can see. We're not even allowed to see it, yes? So the renowned Irish playwright and Nobel laureate George Bernard Shaw has said, "I do not want to make my stomach a graveyard of dead animals." You see, the ones who are aware, they don't touch meat, yes. Just like when we are aware, we switch completely.
Today, we are going to present to you Art Teaching from A Treatise on Parents and Children, a collection of essays about various topics between children and parents. Although written 100 years ago, many of the concepts he illustrated are still relevant in modern society. Art Teaching. The attempt to suppress art is not wholly successful. We might as well try to suppress oxygen. But it is carried far enough to inflict on huge numbers of people a most injurious art starvation, and to corrupt a great deal of the art that is tolerated. The dearth is artificially maintained, even when there are the means of satisfying it. Storybooks are forbidden. Picture postcards are forbidden. Theatres are forbidden. Operas are forbidden. Circuses are forbidden. Sweetmeats are forbidden. Pretty colours are forbidden. All exactly as vice is forbidden. The creator is explicitly preyed to and implicitly convicted of indecency every day. An association of vice and sin with everything that is delightful and of goodness with everything that is wretched and detestable is set up. All the most perilous and glorious appetites and propensities are at once inflamed by starvation and uneducated by art. All the wholesome conditions which art imposes on appetite are waived. Instead of cultivated men and women restrained by 1,000 delicacies, repelled by ugliness, chilled by vulgarity, horrified by coarseness, deeply and sweetly moved by the graces that art has revealed to them and nursed in them, we get indiscriminate rapacity in pursuit of pleasure. We have a continual clamour for goodness, beauty, virtue, and sanctity, with such an appalling inability to recognize it or love it when it arrives that it is more dangerous to be a great prophet or poet than to promote 20 companies for swindling simple folk out of their savings. Do not, for a moment, suppose that uncultivated people are merely indifferent to high and noble qualities. They hate them malignantly. At best, such qualities are like rare and beautiful birds. When they appear, the whole country takes down its guns. And it really all comes from the habit of preventing children from being troublesome. You have not stifled a single passion, nor averted a single danger. You have depraved the passions by starving them and broken down all the defences which so effectively protect children brought up in freedom. You have men who imagine themselves to be ministers of religion openly declaring that when they pass through the streets, they have to keep out in the wheeled traffic to avoid the temptations of the pavement. You have them organising hunts of the women who tempt them, poor creatures whom no artist would touch without a shudder, and for the abolition of pictures, statues, theatres and pretty colours. And incredible as it seems, these unhappy lunatics are left at large, unrebuked, even admired and revered, whilst artists have to struggle for toleration. To them, an undraped human body is the most monstrous, the most blighting, the most obscene, the most unbearable spectacle in the universe. To an artist, it is, at its best, the most admirable spectacle in nature and, at its average, an object of indifference. If every rag of clothing miraculously dropped from the inhabitants of London at noon tomorrow, say as a preliminary to the Great Judgment, the artistic people would not turn a hair, but the artless people would go mad and call on the mountains to hide them. I submit that this indicates a thoroughly healthy state on the part of the artists and a thoroughly morbid one on the part of the artless. In short, we all grow up stupid and mad to just the extent to which we have not been artistically educated. It is becoming exceedingly grave at present, because the last ray of art is being cut off from our schools by the discontinuance of religious education. Gentle viewers, thank you for your company today on Words of Wisdom.